So most of my early 20s was spent kind of finding myself and rebuilding all these habits and kind of killing all these bad habits that had developed through COVID. And when I was 18, 19, 20, like all those years was spent coping, procrastinating, lying to myself, playing it small. And so it got to the point where I had to rebuild a new identity, new habits, and a new outlook on life because I was tired of seeing other people win in the position that I know I could be in, but I never took action. I just kept procrastinating over and over again. So this video isn't about fitness. It's about what happens when you stop lying to yourself and you start taking action and you remove all your self-limiting beliefs, right? In order to get to the goal that you need to go to, whatever destination you have in this life, right? Or whatever goal. So I am a first generation Vietnamese American. And, you know, if you're Asian, you can definitely relate to having immigrant parents. You know, just the emotional availability, obviously. And kind of like you grow up with a intuitive sense that, I can't speak for everybody, but you learn not to ask for much, in a sense. So, because I grew up knowing that we were not low income, but we were just getting by. And I learned not to ask for much and not be a spoiled brat. So that's one thing. And just that itself taught me to be more independent in myself, or to be more self-reliant, self-independent, affected the way I communicated, styles of communication, how I coped and dealt with things, because I saw that's how my parents dealt with things. And I guess building my identity from the start was like, I didn't feel like I had an identity attached to me. So I went to video games. I went to video games because I got into the MMORPGs. My cousins introduced me to games like, well, not like World of Warcraft, it's called Mabinogi. And you could create these characters, you could customize them, the avatars, you can choose a class, you can be whoever you want, you could level up, be this badass, right? And so I placed my identity in these things rather than real life because I had nothing to show for it, and I had low confidence, lack of social abilities, things like that. I was more introverted. So I couldn't really express myself the way I wanted to because I didn't know how, apparently, during that time. And I didn't have a lot of role models to help guide me in that direction other than my parents or just people who I thought would lead me to the right direction or who I admired, who I thought were cool at that time. And so eventually basketball came into my life, and that became kind of like a source of real identity where my hard work, my dedication, or me putting time, investing into this sport would manifest into something. And then once that was gone, that was kind of like I was stripped of it because my hoop dreams were gone, right? And that's when I realized like there's levels to this. And so I kind of fell back into that video game stage. Like I've always struggled with video games all my entire life because of that. It wasn't because I was addicted to games. It was because I was addicted to, I think it was just, there was something in there that I had something to show for rather than outside to provide any tangible value, right? Because in video games, it's like I had control, I had an identity, I felt belonging with my online stranger friends, things like that. And as well as, yeah, so that's basically it. I was also a people pleaser. I grew up wanting to please everybody, make my time available for people. As a result, I didn't hold any boundaries. I didn't respect my time and energy. And I think because of that showed to people that I could be easily taken advantage of. And that was just naturally who I was. Like, I think I get that empathetic side from my mom. I'm not sure. And then that's when I realized, like, you know, if you're a nice person, it doesn't get you that far either. There's a difference between nice and kind. Kind is you're genuinely a good person. That's who I try to be. But I was also nice. I was like fake nice in a way. It's just like fake. You know, you can sense it. I was trying to people please, and I got along well with others, but I didn't feel like other people knew me, because I was just trying to fit in with everybody. Because like, same thing, when you fit in with everybody, you fit in with nobody, right? You don't have anything polarizing about you. You don't have anything interesting about you. You just are in the crowd. So I got tired of seeing other people who I didn't resonate with, I didn't respect. Not respect necessarily, but, you know, like, why does this guy have good things happen to him and not me? And so I think that's what led to the discovery of getting uncomfortable, finding more of what I can get good at, what do I resonate with, things like that. And then I want that in my life. Like, it started superficially, but then I just wanted to become like my North Star this whole time has been be a good person, things like that. The general rules, and then you start to learn the reality of things, and then now you have to bend the universe to your will to find and grab and get these things and develop these things on your own. And that's where my personal development journey started. Kind of like, it just started with this idea of I can level up, right? So going back to the gaming, because it was such a big part of my life, it wasn't like gaming didn't become a problem until it did, in a way, because I used it to avoid responsibility. I used it to avoid the necessary self-reflection on what it takes to become a responsible person or whatever you need to do, right? So it became an escape from who I was ashamed, like of feeling ashamed of what I need to do in order to become that person that, you know, why aren't you this, why aren't you that? So I use gaming to kind of procrastinate that and take safety in that. And I wrote some notes here. And I think, when I think about it, it's like, yeah, why did it take so long for me to change? Why did it take so long for me to procrastinate from who I am and who I want to be? It's because when I see this gap in that moment from the person who I was and who I wanted to be and I knew I needed to be, I think that gap was so tremendous, and it was so uncomfortable with that current lifestyle I was living. Like, I couldn't even fathom being this person because that gap was too big to cross. But I think the thing now that I can say is there is no comfortable way to become the person that you need to be, or to get better at something, or to find out the truth of something, or the way to go about life. There is no comfortable way to cross. You're gonna feel lost regardless, and what I've learned is to sit with discomfort and uncertainty, because that's gonna happen in a part of anybody's life. That's what I've come to realize. And then I realized like how much it held me back, like gaming wise, like my personal development, my social skills. Like, I was gaming like 10 plus hours a day. And so I felt the effects of that, because I would interact with people from time to time and I would come off awkward, I would come off stiff, and even like because I, like girls, so I try to talk to girls in an awkward way, and it was just like, it showed the gap, and I knew that, and I was like, gosh, like, playing video games is really not doing anything for me. But I still went into it because, again, this cycle, this loop of feeling ashamed and then going to video games and then go back to real life and then feeling the shame, and then it's this nasty cycle, right? And then because I simply didn't want to confront it. And then as a result, I ended up wasting years of like what I could have invested in. Like, an hour spent on games was an hour I was avoiding of who I needed to become in order to like achieve the dream person who I've always wanted to be and admired and who I knew I could have been, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I was just irresponsible. I was irresponsible with the way I was like handling things and running my life. So that didn't resonate with me because I knew as a man, like you pick up these things, right? What does being a man mean? Things like that. But as a person in general, taking responsibility for yourself, having the self-respect enough to take care of yourself, and then therefore others, and what other different important things matter to you in your life, right? So I think I realized after I saw people who I didn't align with, who I thought weren't good people, who I didn't respect, after I saw them all get what they want, despite, I was like, dude, like if these people are winning, if there's people that are bad people, genuinely bad people, and they still have things go their way and the universe allows it to happen their way, I got tired of seeing that, and I might as well do it myself. Like I keep thinking in my head, I can do that. Like I'm a hater, right? But like hating towards negative people, and they still get their way. Why can't I get my way? And so it started off with that idea and small little steps, like getting better at basketball, improving my athleticism. And then, it was a mix of like this journey of like, oh yeah, I'm better than you at like playing League of Legends too. Like, oh, this person doesn't seem that good. It started off like that, obviously counterproductively. And then I brought it into real life, yada, yada, yada. The turning point in my journey was actually during COVID. And that's when I had a basketball friend, and his name's Izzy. So shout out to Izzy, by the way. He kind of started. It's like these little things, like these people that you walk with in your life, these little parts of your life that become a big part of who you are, right? So he was just saying like, hey, we should like hit the gym and actually commit to something, because you describe all the positive benefits of fitness, right? And how, you can become, at that time we still played basketball. We were obsessed with basketball. So it would improve our athleticism. We would become bigger because we were short guards. And it just turned into this thing. We were consistent for a minute, like 2 to 3 months. And then I think things got busy. So we kind of fell off. We split off, but I continued my own journey. And I think at that point, there wasn't any crucial turning point. It was just a culmination of moments that I've led up to that moment. So yes, one, I was ashamed of who I was, not of the way I looked. Like I didn't look too ugly. Like I guess I'm thankful for that. Like I was unattractive, like because I wasn't well groomed. I was unattractive, yeah, a little bit physically, but also unattractive mentally, spiritually, the way I lived my life. I was ashamed of that stuff. And that's what kind of served as a catalyst. And then I guess this was also a catalyst. This moment of, hey, we should hit the gym. I think it was like October 2020. And we started hitting the gym. And then boom, got my habits in there, because I was just like, I was curious to see what this would lead to. And I wanted to change myself, because at that time too, I treated women like a catch. Like I was watching all these red pill things to improve my social interactions with women, dating options, because I was curious. Like that also like made me feel like excited for what's the catch. Oh, what's my potential? I want to try to make out with this person. Like at that time, I don't think I've ever made out with anybody before. I was still a virgin, and I was desperate because I was curious to see what that felt like. I think I let the pressure get to me, like, oh, this guy is 19 or 20 years old and he still hasn't gotten his first body. Excuse me. Or like he still hasn't made out with anybody. He hasn't even held a girl's hand. So like I kind of kept fantasizing about those things on top of like, porn usage and like just fantasizing, because I think those things are like, we're so vulnerable to that because we don't normalize those conversations. So we feel ashamed. So we do it in secret. We do it at 3 a.m. where we're like eating our Doritos and jerking off to some internet woman. And then you bust a nut off of that. And then you're like, damn, I feel like shit, right? and then the cycle just repeats again because you're ashamed, and then you feel the decision to become a better person is too much or is too uncomfortable, and then you just cope and you just continue it, right? So I mean, it wasn't that fitness was the transformation, it was a vehicle for the transformation. It was a vehicle that took me from point A to now, which is it. And then on top of that, it's the things that I kept in mind, like who I wanted to become. I didn't want to become a people pleaser. I started holding my boundaries. I started getting more curious and getting out of my comfort zone, interact with people, saying yes more, going to parties when I've never went to a party before. And then finding out like, okay, that's not what I really like at all. I don't like partying and drinking alcohol. That's not my thing at all. But I just said yes more in the moment. And then I learned from those experiences to discern which experiences or opportunities to say yes and no to. And then that gradual buildup, it's just a result of consistency in your identity, because you consistently choose these small little daily actions that compound to who you are. It's a vote to who you want to become, right? On the daily. And eventually, like, from then on, I was just doing college, trying to finish my kinesiology degree, and then like get something going on for me, right? And then chase a career. I knew I liked basketball, so I went into sports or kinesiology for sports, and then I specialized in strength and conditioning, and then it just kind of took off from there. Just bits and pieces building up that foundation. Like Rome wasn't built in a day, so you can't expect yourself to 180 in a day, right? As time went on, I eventually built the body through consistency, again, showing up, even though I wasn't even sure what I was doing. And then again, going through this messy figuring out dating, social abilities, talking to women. I went through this cycle of like trying to game women, and then I regretted it. That's not who I am. Because quite frankly, I'm a hopeless romantic. Like, I don't want to game women, even though that's like that kind of lustful side, right? I'm not too religious, but it's like that's the devil, or that's whatever, that's the shadow, or that's something you shouldn't be doing, but yet you're still like, it's a lustful feeling. So when I found out like there were good women out there and I disrespected them by trying to like go in for a kiss. Oh yeah, it's super embarrassing. This is another story I could talk about. That's what prompted me, like, this is not right. This is not what I align with at all. I gotta become better as a man. Like, yes, understand masculine and feminine nature to help support your dating options or finding somebody, or just protecting yourself or understanding in general. So it doesn't like, but not to take it as an incel black pill approach. No, that is not what I'm saying at all. So that's what I think I've learned over the years of that, because I've worked on myself. There are some raw things that you got to work on. Like, yes, I mean, if you're ugly, things like that, it's not that it's impossible. It's just going to make it really hard, and you got to expose yourself more. Yes, you probably have to work on yourself. You have to look smacks a little bit here and there, but look smacksing is not everything, just as money isn't everything, right? So, I mean, you got to understand that you got to get your baseline up to a certain point. You have to struggle and sacrifice or get a little uncomfortable in getting or doing things. And then, yes, it's possible while not compromising your morals and values from the beginning in order to become the person that gets these things, in order to get what you want, essentially, in this life or universe, in this universe too. So now, I mean, I'm proud of where I am right now. I'm not content. I still got a long ways to go in terms of financial, career, goals, life goals in general. But long story short, like, I have my bachelor's, kind of like the traditional make my parents proud type of thing. And I'm in the process of like, I coach right now people in person. I try to be a strength coach or basketball. Like, I still want to do those sort of things in the future, maybe. But in general, I think I'm more aligned and driven with finding like my purpose right now online, which is to kind of help other people, like young Asian men like me, men lost, not even Asian, just people who were in my past self based on what I've described so far in this video. And just I'm just this person who's a few steps ahead. And yes, in the realm of professionalism and fitness, that's something I take pride in. That's my job to do seriously because I actually am getting paid to get people results. So yes, I have to be knowledgeable in that sense. But am I knowledgeable in the sense of life? I can't say for sure. I'm not here to give advice. I'm here to give my experiences. Advice based on my lived experiences, at least. So you guys can pick and choose and give or take whatever applies to your life. So I have a girlfriend too now, and she found me at a time where I was just coming off of like this like fuckboy era, if you will. So after like she's kind of changed me, she softened me, but not in a negative way, guys. It's like understand feminine nature, like being more caring. She pushes me to be better, to be a better man, a better leader, to empathize more, to not speak from hate, to not speak from frustration. You know, we should all be loving. We should all look to inspire one another, just how I felt as a kid with other role models that have popped up in my life. The Jermaine, the one I met at the park. I think I was it's called Panorama Park in Palm Springs. The one who I hooped with, he gave me his stories. He was in his 20s. He inspired me. He said, drink some water, hit your push-ups in the morning. Inspired for all these goals. I want to be an actor. I want to fly first class. I want to earn a lot of money. I want to be well-known. Things like that. He planted that seed in me so that, pause. He planted that seed inside my brain, and now I kind of want to emulate that type of person in the way I live my life, my content, things like that, right? So at the end of the day, I mean, I'm grateful for it all. Like, I'm glad that all these things have happened to me. There's a lot of mistakes, a lot of regrets that I wish I could take back, but at the end of the day, it's made me who I am, and I appreciate that, and I'm grateful for that. And I want to share my experience for you guys who do resonate, and you know, I'm still figuring it out. I'm not perfect. I'm far from it, but I do want to help provide a voice, a unique voice that I feel like I provide that I haven't seen on the internet. There's similar creators like me, Asian, doing coaching, try to inspire too, but just only on the fitness realm. This is like more than fitness, but kind of like this is the starting, right? And I didn't run away from my problems. I'm glad I didn't run away from my problems, or at least I'm glad I caught it early and I didn't continue to run away from my problems. I'm glad I'm not 24. I'm still gaming. Like I still game now, but I'm not gaming as before. I'm not gaming like chronically, a binge eating episode. Like I'll game for like 10, 12 hours a day and then have nothing going on in my life. I'm just glad I'm not in that position today. You're watching this and you can see yourself in my journey and you resonate deeply with it. I just want you to know that the distance between who you want to be and who you think you want to be and know you can be is not that big. It's not that far as it seems. I would say I've had the mindset already when I was like 16 to 18 years old, to be honest with you, maybe even younger. I just didn't make the decision right away to chase that. You're just one decision away and you just got to keep doing it. It compounds over time, okay? So if you're someone like me, you know what you need to do. You just need to compound and take that first decision. There is no merit in trying to wait. You're trying to escape the pain. You don't have time. I don't want you to think that you have time, because the more time you think you have, you're going to spend longer wasting it through games, through saying one day. Don't wait to change your life. So that's what I help do with my clients on a spiritual level. But it's funny because my in-person offer or my online offer was just like, you know, I help men lose weight. But it's more than just the fitness, guys. So, I mean, that's what I help my people do, even women. Like, they feel like they're losing weight because, you know, they feel like they're a shell of themselves. Really, they let themselves go, and then after they lose the weight, they're like, my clients are like, I feel energized, I feel great, I look great, but most importantly, I feel like I'm a myself. I can carry myself better because they literally show up and they know they put in the work. You can't cheat your physique. You can't cheat that because it plays into your lifestyle and all other areas of your life. It represents who you are. That's why I think fitness is such an important self-development tool, because you actually develop the body through the discipline, through delayed gratification, through the decision of saying, hey, this is who I'm going to become. This is who I'm going to act, even though I'm not there yet. And then eventually you're just there. That's just what happened to me, okay? It didn't happen over this one fell swoop transformation and boom, I'm here. It happened through a process. It happened through pain. It happened through a lot of overthinking nights. But it happened through a lot of I felt lost. But I've already gone through that journey. I'm here to make this video so you don't have to go through the turmoils and suffering of thinking it. I've already done that for you. So if you guys really resonate with what I said in this message or this video, subscribe. I have more to come in relations to kind of men-related topics, fitness, nutrition. That's what I do. I'm a fitness coach. A fitness coach is more than just like a trainer. Like I want to change lives and lifestyles and the way people think and the way people act and the way people live their lives. So, but if you're looking for something like that, like a one-on-one based transformation, then hit me up, because it's not going to be just about hitting your macros, eating in a calorie deficit or things like that. I will walk you through a roadmap of what it's going to take on your desired goals, but mainly for fitness first, because fitness is going to be the vehicle to get you to what you want, because it's going to allow you to develop these abilities of delayed gratification, discipline, consistency, grit, other things as a man that builds the conviction in your life to bend the universe to your will, right? So again, my name's Eric. If this is your first time watching, I appreciate you for watching all the way through, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, love you guys. Peace out.